All right, what's going on, folks? We're back again. It's Tuesday, so you know what that means? It's Tackle Tuesday time.
I'm a whiskey drinking SOB. If you don't like that, then you won't like me. I'm an outlaw. I said I'm an outlaw.
All right, let's do some explanation here because you're probably saying, Outlaw, what the hell's the deal, man? Why does it look so weird? Why does everything look so different? Well, we had 105-degree temperatures here today in South Texas on Monday, which I usually shoot my videos on Monday afternoon, evening, get them all edited and everything, get them uploaded to where all I got to basically do is press that publish button Tuesday morning, and it's there for y'all all day Tuesday, so it is technically Tackle Tuesday. All right, so we had this 105-degree temperatures, and I said, no way in hell. Today I'm gonna wait until it gets dark, let that temp drop down a little bit, and hell, I'd say we're still pushing high 90s right now, and it's 8:30, 9 o'clock at night. So yeah, so hopefully everything looks all right, man. I got this LED light right here on my garage door. I got LED light back there. I got some light bulbs back there, so on and so forth. So, you know, hopefully my lighting ain't too bad and you can understand what's going on here. You can see what's going on here. So what we're gonna talk about today is we're gonna talk about Senkos and Senkos, AKA stick baits, and other soft plastic worms. So I figured it was perfect to talk about today with this hot temps, because in this hot weather your bass are going to be lethargic. They don't want to do a damn thing. They don't want to move. They don't want to do shit. They're just like, screw you, I ain't going out, I ain't eating. What's that? I'm not hitting it. The hell with it. So you got to search for these fish. A prime example of this is this last Saturday. 210 Bassing and I went out to this place to go have a little fish session, and Angel got on fish right away. He was throwing a rooster tail and, you know, just covering water with it, and he was getting on fish. He probably 4 maybe fish up on me before I ever touched a fish and landed a fish in the boat. And what ended up basically happening is we were going up bank line. We were in a little one of these little what the hell are they called? These little square plastic boats, Bass Raider, Pond Raider, whatever you want to call it, with trolling motor on it. So what we were doing is we were going up the bank line to the tree line on the bank and coming back down the lake, letting the wind carry us down the lake, and we were pitching up in the shadow pockets underneath the trees. And that seemed to be the technique for later in the day, because I landed 2 fish in less than 15 minutes. I'd say Angel, just off the top of my head throwing out numbers, Angel landed probably 3, maybe 4 more fish for his day. So you know, that's just the way it is. You got to get it up in them shade pockets, anywhere that the fish are going to be chilling out, trying to relax, trying to get out of this cool, and just work it. And what I found out throughout the day was it was a slow working technique. They were just picking it up. They weren't nailing it, they weren't thumping it, they were just picking it up. Like I told Angel, I came up on my worm, went back down. When I came up the second time, there was dead weight there, and I knew it was the kind of weight that I was on a fish versus being hung up on weeds or tree limbs or something like that. And then also too, when I picked it up, as soon as I started to pick it up, he started to move with it. So set the hook and the fight's on. But it wasn't a Senko, it was a lizard. But you're fishing at the same technique. I was running Texas rig, which we're going to talk about here in a minute. But anyways, let's get on with this video. Enough of the chit chat, enough of the BS talking. So very first thing out of the box, we're talking about soft plastics. Favorite brand, Gary Yamamoto. You just can't beat them. The salt is right, the buoyancy's right. You can fish these things Texas rig, you can fish them Wacky Rig, you can fish them Shaky head, and they just work every damn time. Favorite color is going to be anything natural, watermelon, wet, red, and green. For myself, I like natural stuff, but I am kind of trying to start experimenting a little bit, because one of the guys that was at this little fish session we had, he was catching on a pink worm, bubblegum color. So again, just a thought I've got. I'll be trying it out here in the near future. So here's your Gary Yamamoto Senko. Okay, very nice and pretty and green with lots of flake and this, that, and the other. If you take this bait and kind of just pull on it like that, you get that salt comes up and out of it, which is something that just attracts the fish. Whenever I use a Yamamoto, I always like to take and drag my fingers up it like that and bring that salt out. Okay? Now this bait can be fished numerous ways. Again, this isn't every way. What I'm going to tell you is not every way. This is just my way. I like to fish them Texas rigged. I like to fish with nothing smaller than a 4/0 extra wide gap hook. Preferably Gamakatsus because they don't bend up and twist up as easy as all your other cheaper brands. Here's my technique. You've got the barb. I understand with the light y'all probably can't hardly see this, but you got the barb right where the top of my fingernail's at. You got your bend right there. When I go in, I go just past the, just a little bit, I almost used a bad word, just a little bit past my barb, come up, go around, bring it up on the eye, take and see where the hook, I don't know if I'm in camera there, take and see where the hook hits the worm. I put my thumbnail on it, I put the hook through the worm, right there, bring it back out. Okay, and I've got a little bit of play here, so I'm going to work it around. Nice little tiny skin tuck. And then typically I'll use it either weightless, depending on the baits. Yamamotos, I like to use them weightless. Take Yamamoto, I'll put a small weight on the top of it, like my fingers are all greasy and salty. Like so, just run your line through it, tie it up, boom. Little nice little small 1/8 ounce weight allows you to throw it out a little bit better, allows it to get down to the bottom a little bit quicker. And we're not talking quick like pew flying down, we're just talking about goes down a little bit nicer and gives you the opportunity to hop it up and, you know, just typical, cast it out, let it sit for a few, make sure your line is taut. You don't want to reel it in, just make sure your line is nice and taut. Give it a bump or two, give it a reel, bump or two and a reel, a bump or two and a reel. You can just fish your particular spot, you can just fish your particular shadow, you can fish it all the way back to the boat or all the way back to the bank, whatever you want to do, it's all up to you. That's that pattern that you're going to have to find. And so that's awesome right there. Another really killer bait for doing the same style stuff. I'm not going to pull that hook out of that one, so everything we do from here on out is probably going to be hookless because I just don't want to waste that Yamamoto. They're so brittle that if I pull the hook out of it, it's only going to be there for a few minutes. Another one is going to be your Strike King KVD Ochos. This is brand new. I haven't caught any fish with this yet. I just bought it, literally just got back when I started making the video. But it's kind of neat. It's got a different shape to it than a typical Senko. It's still long and cylindrical, but if you look at it, it's kind of got flats on it, which I'm sure has a real good thing. And if you see, kind of like what I did with that Yamamoto, I can bring salt up to the surface on it like that, but not nearly as much. Smells different. Actually, smelling that, oh, it's coffee scent. I was like, smelling it makes me think of coffee, but it's coffee scented. I didn't even realize that. Anyways, so same thing. You can go Texas rig with this guy. We're gonna go ahead and talk something different with this particular one, so that way we can still go ahead and talk methods and talk stuff like that. Another one that's really great for this time of year is going to be your shaky head. Okay, I prefer a shaky head hook that's got a flat spot on it, because what's going to basically end up happening is once you've rigged this hook up and you throw it in the water, it's going to go down to the bottom and it's going to sit like that on the bottom, and you're going to bump it and it's going to go whoop, 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 and it's going to come back down and it's going to sit on the bottom like that, which is going to leave that worm out here doing this. And it basically just looks like a bait fish foraging in the foliage, you know, trying to find something to eat, etc. So what you're going to do with this guy, again, real quick, real simple. It's got a twist lock on it, and all of this stuff will be linked down in the description below. Names, brands, where to get it from Tackle Warehouse. You got it twisted, locked on. Okay, you got bait just like that, and you're going to do the exact same thing that we just did with this Yamamoto here just a second ago. I'm going to put my thumbnail on the bottom end of it to know where the arc of the hook comes up at. I'm going to go in just in front of my thumbnail, push it on through, bring it out the other side, and then same thing if you want to stay 100% weedless, just the slightest little bit of skin tuck, and there you go. Oh damn. So basically what's going to happen, like I said, you're going to toss it out there, it's going to land, we'll hold it by the end of the tail here so we can see, it's going to land like this, okay? And then when you bump it and you move it, this thing's going to do this stuff here, like this, like this, like this, and you hop it. I mean, I'm sorry, I want to eat this when it does stuff like that. It looks that good, okay? So that's basically that. We're gonna go ahead and move off of there. This one I'm gonna go ahead and take off of here because I ain't too worried about it. It's a thicker pour for a bait, so it works really good. So we're gonna stay talking about this bait. Everybody and their mama makes a stick bait, aka a Senko. Yum makes them, Zoom makes them, Strike King makes them, Gary Yamamoto makes them, and those are just your regular names. There's all kinds of other people out there that make them. So it's all a preference, in my opinion, on what you use. I love the Yamamotos. They catch fish, but they're extremely brittle. You go through them like crazy. Hell, I'm not even gonna lie. Tell you where nobody can hear me. We're gonna tell secrets here. I hit up Walmart. I go to their clearance bins and buy up all the Yums and all the Zooms and all that stuff I can buy, and just use the hell out of them. Use them up. Okay. So, anyways, we're gonna move on. Next method you're gonna go ahead and try out that we can try out is gonna be a Wacky Rig. Wacky Rig is just basically, this is actually a Catchco hook from Mystery Tackle Box. So I'm not going to put a link on this, but BMC makes some really good Wacky Rig hooks and stuff like that. I'll put a link in the description for that. And all you're basically going to do is you're going to take your worm, find center, and you can do it one of two ways here. You can either A, put your worm through the hook just like that, okay, and throw it out and fish it. The problem with this is you're going to go through a lot of damn worms because the worm is so soft and so, especially if you're throwing with a Yamamoto, as soon as that fish hits it, that worm is gone. Okay, so the problem, this will work in a pinch. And what's really nice about this is when you throw it, if you got a weight up here, when you throw it, this guy's going to barrel roll and go straight down like that. And these guys here, they're going to basically just wow, 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 just like that, wow, 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 through the water column. Okay, same thing, you drop that guy on the bottom, give him a few seconds to sit there. Somebody's either gonna him up on the drop, or somebody's gonna come by and say, hey, look at that, and suck him up. Okay, so when you pop him, he's gonna do the same, just basically the same thing this damn worm is doing in my hand right now. That's what it's gonna do. Not that drastic because it's in water, come on. But anyways, that's basically what it's gonna do. You're gonna pop it, and it's gonna do this kind of stuff. And again, man, I'm sorry, it just looks good. Okay. Another thing you can do if you're into spending money and you don't mind spending some money to keep from having to buy more of these and spend some money, is you can buy a Wacky Rig tool. This thing is cool as hell. This particular one, I bought it off Amazon. It came with all these O-rings, and another huge bag of O-rings that I haven't even opened yet. In fact, I've never even used this because the only time I've pitched Wacky Rig so far that I've been fishing it is just pinning it here and throwing it out. Okay? So what you would do with this guy is you're just going to drop this worm down in there. Okay? It'll go all the way to the bottom. So I kind of try to figure out where my halfway spot's at. I'm going to take this O-ring. And my hands are so slimy from those Yamamotos. You're going to take this O-ring and basically bring it up here like this. Drop it on your worm. Boom. There you go. O-ring in effect. Okay? Now, you can take this hook now, and rather than going through your worm, you go through your O-ring. Okay? But look what we've got. That worm's in a different position. So you could try this and see if it works. If it doesn't, then my other suggestion, which is this is what everybody does, is you stick this guy right here, right back down there, right next to where that other O-ring is at. Slide you another O-ring up here like this. Pop them off the end. Now you got two O-rings pretty much side by side. You should be able to take, yes. And now that you've done that, you want to pinch it and pull your O-ring, pull your two O-rings into an X. I don't know if you'll be able to see this on camera. Hopefully you can. I'm going to give it a few seconds there to focus up. But you pull your two O-rings where they cross each other. Okay? Now you can take your hook and put it right underneath that X. Just like that. And now your bait's positioned just like it was the very first time we talked about it when you were just hooking it through the worm. And same thing, you toss it out and that guy's going to do that in the water. Alright? Cool. Video's getting kind of long. I haven't even put any catch clips in or anything like that. But we're going to talk about one more soft plastic that is my favorite favorite, and that is going to be any ribbon tail. These particular ones is Bass Pro, but any ribbon tail that is 10 inches or bigger. Again, when your bass are extremely lethargic like they are right now, you Texas rig this guy up. Basically, it's just a little bit shorter. The body of the worm is just basically a little bit shorter than an actual Senko, but it's got this real thin tail here that just creates all kind of movement, stuff like that in the water. So again, with this guy, you can Texas rig it, or you can use your shaky head hook and throw it like that. My problem with the shaky head hook is I thus far have not found anything that's a very big hook. As you can see, this is probably like a 2/0, maybe a 3/0, and I kind of like a bigger hook than that. So I haven't fished this guy's shaky head yet, but I will in the future. In the process of trying to find me some larger hooks, something to move that hook back up in the body a little bit further, get me a little bit better bait hookup. But you know, same thing. Let's just shits and giggles here. Let's just do some comparisons. Ow, there's a hook there. Okay, there we go. I got him up there. He's screwed on. I'm not going to put the hook through him because I don't want to screw up this bait. But man, you toss that out and this thing goes and sits on its flat spot, and this thing's up here doing this. Just looks tasty, man. I'm sorry, you just can't pass it up. And trust me, when I first got back into fishing, I grew up fishing all my life, but I never fished soft plastics. I got back into fishing soft plastic and into fishing, and everybody was like, man, Outlaw, soft plastic's the way to go, you know, blah 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 blah. And I said, man, screw y'all don't know nothing, man. I'm gonna fish this, or I'm gonna fish that, I'm gonna fish this, I'm gonna fish that. Go back and look at some of my past videos. I made myself sit down and learn how to throw soft plastics and learn how to work them, and I started catching more fish and better fish. So you can listen or you can let it go in one ear and out the other. It don't matter to me, you know, whatever. I'm just telling you what works for me. This is pretty much my arsenal. I mean, they have long ribbon tails, they have short ribbon tails, they've got, you know, all kinds of other stuff, but this is my pretty much go-to on the soft plastics. Go. Pretty much taking up a bunch of time here. We're gonna have to put some catch clips in there, so I'll put some catch clips right here of just soft plastic worms and stuff like that.
I didn't have the camera on, but it wasn't nothing fancy. Fuck, did I put my pliers? We got a fish. Ooh, it's a good one too. Keep them pinning. Keep them pinning. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. Well, come on. Ooh, it's a damn good one. Heck yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So here he is. It's a good damn fish. I got a fish. Took me forever to set the hook, but I got him. That's stepping up my game on them, on that soft plastic, that's for damn sure. think we may have found a pattern here. So that's fish number 2, back-to-back cast.
Okay, so now that we're back from watching some catch clips, that was all basically Senkos and stuff like that, other than the one clip that was the very first one of us pitching up underneath the shadows this weekend. And like I said, that was a lizard. I covered the lizard last week. You fish it the same way you fish these. So, you know, pretty self-explanatory. I guess you could go hand in hand with that. So I've taken up enough of y'all's time. I appreciate y'all watching my videos. One of the things I want to do though is I want to see who watches these things all the way out to the end. So what I'm going to do is the first 5 people to comment, pick me, I'll send you this guy. It's just a little Outlaw TV sticker. It's all it is. It ain't no big deal. And we'll see what goes on there. So like I said, just pick me is all you got to comment with. Man, comment on the video. Don't just put pick me, pick me, pick me, pick me. Comment on the video. Tell me what you think, you know, so on and so forth. But yeah, like I said, first 5 people, I'll send y'all an Outlaws TV sticker. All right, here we go. Here's what it looks like. Cool. All right, man. Appreciate y'all watching. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, share, and we're getting close to 500. So y'all keep hitting that subscribe button. We'll have a drawing coming.